who is part of a new program in Orange County, which is our community paramedic program, which is designed to help keep all of us from having to schlep off to the emergency room or urgent care. So hopefully she will share her information with us, and we can stay safely at home. And then Deputy Kesner is back. He is our favorite Orange County deputy, and today he's going to talk. And today he's going to talk to us about home safety devices. So, Kristen, and you can do whatever you want with the mic. You can hold it, or you can put it in your podium.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Like Ms. Margaret said, my name is Kristen Cook. So I work for the County of Orange Fire and EMS. So I'm part of the career department that our tax money all pays for here in the county. So I'm here to talk to you about our community paramedic program. It's a brand new thing with lots of information. So just for starters, a little introduction.
Oh, go back.
No, you're good.
Go back.
So I've lived here in Orange for 30 years. All 30 years of my years. So I did spend some of them as a child here in Lake of the Woods. So I do have a pretty deep passion for helping this community as well as just the whole county, because this is home and it probably always will be. So I've been a paramedic here in the county for about 4 years, but I did step into this new community paramedic role back in September of 2024 to kind of get this program off the ground. So last calendar year in 2024, as COFEMS, which is the County of Orange Fire and EMS, we ran 6,802 EMS calls here in the entire county. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have 4 ambulances. So we have one in Barbersville, one in the town of Orange, one right there in Unionville on Route 20 by Edwards Store, and then the one here at Lake of the Woods. We also have the biggest blessing in the world here in Lake of the Woods of our volunteer rescue squad. So they staff as much as they possibly can. They are amazing and we love them. But you do have 24/7 staffing here paid for by the county. So good thing to know. But between 4 medic units, that's a lot of calls, right? That's a lot. So over half of those transports to the hospital were in non-emergent mode. So that means we picked you up, we didn't have to run lights and sirens, haul and tail up the road to get to the hospital. So what that tells us is not everything that we transported was a true emergency. So as a rural county with our limited resources, because compared to places such as Spotsylvania or Fredericksburg, they have a lot more resources. They're larger, they have more income. We're just not that here in Orange County. So we decided that we could benefit from another resource to help try and reduce those transports, and that's when we came up with the community paramedic program. So typically when we hear the term paramedic, we think of the emergent response. Like I said, you call 911, you get the paramedics to come, they haul butt to get there, and here we are. So as paramedics, we have a broad scope of life-saving procedures and medications that we are specifically trained to do and help you with. Paramedics are typically looked as an extension of an ER physician. So we're here to stabilize you, keep you safe until we get you to definitive care, which is the ER. So what is community paramedicine? This is a relatively new evolving healthcare model that allows paramedics to operate in a more proactive and preventative manner. So my focus is to try and keep you at home. So how many people have ever been to the ER? Okay. How many people enjoy going to the ER and want to go back? That's usually the answer we get. So this is kind of designed to bridge the gap between primary care and emergency care. So my goal is to try and assess some of those needs in home with the help of a physician online or wherever. I say online as in a phone call with them, to try and help keep you at home for these non-emergencies. Of course, there's always going to be reasons that we need to go to the hospital in true emergencies, and this is not to discourage you from doing that. But anytime you feel like it may not be an emergency, this is the time for community paramedicine. So the certification that I had to get to go through this, it's a licensing exam through the International Board of Specialty Certifications, so it's just a little bit more focused on that primary care aspect of paramedicine instead of just the emergent stabilizing you and getting you to the hospital. So it's focused more on the management of chronic diseases, your COPD, your congestive heart failure, and it's a little more comprehensive on the medication knowledge. So we're a little bit more educated on different medications, not just life-saving emergency medicines. Lab values from blood draws, so we're not at that point yet, but there is a neighboring locality that has one of these programs that they do blood draws at bedside and they send it off from the lab for you, so you don't have to go to the doctor's office to get your blood drawn. So that's very helpful, and we're hoping to get there. Hospice care knowledge, we partner a lot with hospice care to try and keep everyone comfortable. And then the management of mobility issues. So mobility issues is one of the biggest things that we are focused on. Your constant lift assist. So anytime you fall and you're not hurt, you just need a little help getting up and you have to call 911. So my goal is to kind of come in home and see how we can avoid those issues, see what resources we can get for you so you're not falling. So the history of community paramedicine. The first concept to ever introduce paramedics into the non-traditional, non-emergent mode was 1995. It was between 1995 to 2000. It was called the Red River Project in New Mexico. So it was in Teos, New Mexico. They were the first ones to ever come up with this brilliant idea. Since then, the concept has evolved to 33 states in the United States and 4 additional international countries. And a study by the CDC performed in 2024 demonstrated that 40% of ER visits in the United States last year could have been treated in a non-emergent setting. So 40% of people that went to the ER probably could have gone either to a primary care doctor, an urgent care setting, or had some assistance in home from something like community paramedicine. So we in this county are one of 11 localities in Virginia that has a program similar to this. So fairly new, but we're trying to be advanced. So the goals of this program are to reduce 911 EMS utilization for non-emergencies, avoid costly ER visits, because we all know the ER is not cheap and they want to take every dime you have. Reduce unnecessary readmissions to the hospital, so once you do come home from a hospital stay, we don't want to have you go back. Promote accessible healthcare and wellness to help improve the overall health of the residents in the community, and connect patients to primary care resources or social health services within the community. So a lot of times patients just don't know what resources are out there, and that's another thing that we're here to share with. So a little overview of this program, because I'm sure you guys are wondering how this works now. So the patient is referred to the community paramedic program, and the referral is evaluated by me, the community paramedic, and we'll go into detail with each of these steps. But the referral is evaluated by me, and qualifying patients are contacted via telephone. So I'll reach out and schedule a time to come and schedule your initial intake visit. At that initial intake visit, we go through a home safety assessment. We just kind of figure out, get to know you and know what your needs are and how we can help. At that point, we create a care plan, and weekly home visits are scheduled to work through the goals of the care plan. We love to work with primary care physicians if you have one, or a specialist of any sort that you see. We kind of develop a care plan as like a collective collaboration. And this program is intended to be about a 90-day enrollment period with the goals achieved hopefully by that time. So the best part of all this is that this program is at no charge to the citizens. So this is also paid for by the county through tax money. So qualifying patients for referrals. Here's some examples. Frequent falls or lift assist. So again, those mobility issues. Frequent 911 utilization for any reason. Unmanaged chronic diseases, our COPD, our CHF, our unmanaged diabetes, all those pesky things that we need a little bit of help with. Medication organization and compliance assistance. Necessity for obtaining durable medical equipment such as walkers, rollators, wheelchairs, canes. Food insecurity, transportation assistance to appointments, post-hospital discharge follow-up assistance, insurance navigation, substance abuse recovery, and mental health or behavioral health services. So the way the referral works, we have a few different ways that we can receive referrals. So I do have some brochures in the back that have all this information, so don't feel like you need to take notes or anything with this. But some of the most common places that we get referrals from are our EMS crews. So they may go out to a patient and identify a patient that had called 911 that could benefit from this resource, and they send a referral over. That's our most common. Orange County government website in our fire and EMS section, which is on the brochure in the back that you guys can grab before you leave. So we do have a whole referral form that you can fill out for yourself, a neighbor, a friend, family, anybody that you feel could need this. I do have an email address on the brochure, a cell phone number, You can also call the Orange County Communication Dispatch Center if you find somebody that could need this resource. They can actually dispatch me as a unit. And our local hospital systems can refer patients as well following discharge. So if they identify someone that has been admitted to the hospital that can utilize this resource, they send referrals over as well. Once a referral is received, qualifying patients are contacted. My goal is 3 business days to contact, at least make that phone call, make contact, let them know that they were referred, and kind of see what our next steps are. You're good, Ron. So our initial intake visit, this is done in the patient's home. So once we call you and schedule that initial visit at whatever time is convenient for you, I will come to the home and do this visit. So there's no need to go anywhere. We do an initial patient assessment where we obtain kind of a baseline for vitals and just overall assessment, see kind of what's going on. We discuss your previous medical history, medications, primary care physicians, any specialists you see, basically any care partner that's involved in that care, we want to involve in this program. We do a home safety assessment. We look for any trip hazards, we assess your smoke detectors, we replace smoke detectors, I install those all the time. Fire safety plans, bathroom safety, if you need to find a way to do any modifications to showers, toilets, install grab bars. Those are all things that we have resources to help you with. We discuss any social or medical needs that the patient requires at that point. And this is a great time for family or caregivers to participate in this visit. So if anybody has children or any other care partners, we like to try to get as many people here as possible to kind of work through these things together. And then we do have you sign a consent for enrollment and release of information, just so I can discuss any care plan with other care providers like physicians. So once we establish that care plan, or once we do that visit, we establish your care plan. So this is established by me and any other providers, and the care plan will typically outline the goals and for enrollment and how these will be achievable. So just a little example, so reduce frequent falls by obtaining medical equipment such as wheelchairs, canes, walkers, physical therapy, and then weekly medication compliance, just making sure we have our medications organized and we're taking them as prescribed. Because sometimes when we fall off of our medications, it causes way more problems than we know. So, and then we schedule weekly visits to work through those goals. So those weekly visits, some people prefer to do the same day and time every week and stay in that routine. Sometimes schedules alter, but either way, I like to make contact with my patients once a week at their house. So weekly visits, all done in home. They all include vitals and patient assessment. That way we can see if maybe you have a history of high blood pressure and you're on medication. We like to just make sure we're obtaining those vitals and making sure they're staying within your normal range. We assess medications and organize for the week if necessary, because again, medication compliance, very, very important. But it's also tough when you get multiple medications that you're on. It's tough to keep everything organized and stay on track. So I like to work through 1 to 2 steps of the care plan at a time at each visit. And then any additional needs to the care plan as they arise, or anything you may feel you need that week. So sometimes needs change. And then weekly visits are done until all the goals are met and the patient feels that their needs have been fulfilled. That's just another quick picture. So that Tahoe is what we drive to the visits. It's also sitting out front. It's what I drive everywhere. But that's a good reference. If you are expecting a visit, that's what to expect. It won't be an ambulance. All your neighbors won't know what's going on. So that's just a little reference. They may ask you what's going on.
Doesn't mean they won't wonder.
They may even ask, but it's less than an ambulance being there.
Just thinking that, you could have got the fire truck, but.
And then graduation from the program. So once all the goals are met and the patient feels as though their needs have been fulfilled, they'll graduate from the program. This is typically a 90-day goal to complete, and then extensions are obviously applied whenever necessary. If we're not quite at those goals or you're not feeling quite back on your feet yet, we can obviously extend your enrollment. And following discharge from the program, I usually try to follow up with the patients monthly for about 6 months, just to ensure that nothing has come up and make sure we're staying on the right path. Some people even like a little visit every couple months, which is also fine. And then at that point, after that, you kind of spread your wings and fly, and if you need anything, you can give me a call. So I do have a success story here. I think there's actually 2, but the first...
Well, at least you got 1.
Yeah, I have at least 1, I know, maybe 2, I'm not sure. So the first patient referred to my program ever was for frequent falls. So this patient was consistently falling, didn't really know why they were just falling, and then they were having to call 911 just to be picked up. They felt like a nuisance. We don't feel like a nuisance because this is what we're here for, it's our job, but they felt bad. So they were referred over from our EMS crews because they actually inquired about other things they could do other than calling 911. So during the initial intake visit, the patient expressed concerns for the unexplained frequent falls. They were occurring about 3 to 4 times a week that we were going out and just helping this patient off the ground. Every time you fall, we're risking injury. And we know that injuries or falls can result in injury that can be life-changing. So we want to avoid that. So this patient struggled with medication compliance due to lack of organization and lacked just the necessary resources as well. She fell frequently on multiple occasions, remained on the floor for hours awaiting her spouse to return home. So that was another concern of ours. We don't want you falling on the ground and waiting there forever.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So her treatment, we were able to use one of our free foundations. It's actually called the Free Foundation. It's in Harrisonburg, so it's a bit of a drive, but they actually get like gently used medical equipment. And I know you guys have a few organizations here in Lake of the Woods as well that does that. So that's amazing. But we were actually able to obtain a walker, cane, and rollator from this agency at no cost to the patient. The patient and I worked through medication compliance with a weekly medication organizer because she didn't have one. She had all of her pill bottles in a Ziploc bag and was just thinking she was taking everything right. She wasn't. This patient was provided with a Guardian Alert 911 pendant per our friend Ron over here, of which he will talk to you about all of that. But it was installed by me. No.
What? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Excellent.
No, go back.
Back.
Go back.
Go back.
Go backwards.
I'm going
Okay. Okay, no, forward.
Where do you want to go?
Okay. No, please, oh my goodness gracious.
There you go. There we go.
Okay. And then I actually attended her primary care and physical therapy appointments to discuss this plan with other care providers. When I attended her primary care appointment, I found out that PT was recommended and she had not gone. So then we worked through scheduling it, going to the appointment, all of that was great. And she is currently nearing the end of her enrollment and graduation with all of her goals met.
Wow, very good.
Another one, this patient was referred to us again by our on-duty EMS crews for some recurrent behavioral health complications. So she was finding herself in a behavioral health portion of the hospital multiple times. During the initial intake visit, it was discovered that the patient had unmanaged diabetes, and that can cause a lot of issues. If your glucose is significantly higher than it should be, it can cause a lot of neurological issues that you're not sure, or significantly lower. In this case, hers were actually going very low, and she was becoming very altered. So the patient recently also had terminated healthcare coverage, which would likely leave the disease even more unmanaged, because when you had insurance coverage, if you weren't managing it, you're not going to manage it when it costs you more money. So I was able to navigate through assisting the patient with obtaining the health insurance again. That was our first goal. So we got through that. I'm definitely not the insurance professional, but we've done it a few times now, so we can work through it. Me and the patient's primary care physician were able to collaborate and obtain a continuous glucose monitor for the patient that actually was attached to her arm, so now she doesn't have those issues anymore. Medication compliance and weekly organization was also performed weekly, and with these interventions, behavioral health incidents decreased significantly. So future goals of the program, while this is still a fairly new and established program, we do have high hopes for this. So we've only been really seeing patients since about March. Just establishing a program really takes a lot of time to do a lot of the legwork in the back end. So other localities are performing phlebotomy blood draws, like I had mentioned. They're running blood lab tests to decrease the need for trips to the doctor's office or LabCorp, and then telemedicine with local primary care offices for prescriptions. So when we first introduced the idea of this program, it was a few years back, but in county government it takes quite a bit of time to kind of work through things and actually get positions established. So when we initially proposed the program, we actually had Orange family physicians out in the town of Orange on board with telemedicine visits. So that's something that we're gonna revisit here in the next few months and try to get them back on board with. But that way you don't have to go to the doctor's office for refills for prescriptions or, you know, other incidents like recurring UTIs that just need an antibiotic. So we're hoping to kind of get on board with the telemedicine where we can just get a doctor online, and I can kind of act as the eyes for the physician, and we can get a prescription if necessary. So here's some referral information. Like I said, we do have it on handouts back in the back, so don't worry about taking notes or anything unless you want to, but these are just 3 of the ways that we can get referrals.
That's it.
I think that's it. Oh, okay.
It is.
Oh.
The next slide is blank.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So I'm gonna leave it there,
Yeah,
so
that
that
sounds
while I'm
great.
talking, they'll still be up there.
Sounds great.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Do other, in Maryland, does Maryland have anything like this? The state of Maryland, like, I'm trying to think where Davidsonville is, where my sister lives.
I'm not sure. I can look into it for you. I can absolutely reach out and see. I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar with other states, but I can reach out for you.
Or if there's a number that I can call.
Yeah, let me do a little research for you.
Okay,
We'll
good,
see.
thank you.
Hopefully they do though, because I think it's great in any community.
Mhm.
How many paramedics are there, and how long does it usually take to respond to a call?
If you call 911,
911 would ultimately end up with someone in your position?
no. So actually, I receive referrals non-emergently. So if somebody called 911, because we have had people call 911 for the need for things such as walkers or something like that. In that case, they will send it over to me, and then I'll kind of address it then. But if you want to get a response from me, the phone number up here is the best contact number. But actually, I am a one-woman show currently. So, yes, so I am a one-woman show currently. So I can guarantee you that anybody you refer will get a visit from me. We do also have high hopes for this program to expand in the future, but we're just kind of working through some bumps in the road and seeing where it takes us. And then we're gonna justify the need for another position. So, but on your medic units, there are always 2 paramedics there, so.
How many patients do you know right now?
Right now enrolled, I have 9. So, it fills up fast. Yes, ma'am.
How long does the initial intake come, the first take? How long does the initial intake take when you come out?
I would say I typically try to spend at least an hour with the patient, just to make sure we're getting like the most thorough medical history, thorough assessment, kind of just figuring out all their needs. It's like a game of 50 questions that I ask. Just because a lot of times people don't realize that maybe some other social needs can actually be contributing to their medical history as well. So we try to cover like all our bases, and like I said, I do a home safety assessment, so I do kind of a little walk around and make sure your smoke detectors are there, we don't have any trip hazards, you know, see if you have any difficulties in the bathroom, whether you need grab bars. So it's pretty extensive. I mean, I would say I've never done one in less than an hour, and I've been known to spend as much as 2.5 hours at someone's house when necessary, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have access to Mary Washington's portal site?
I do not. I have access to UVAs, but we haven't made that connection with anyone at Mary Washington yet, but we are working on it. So, yes.
Your goal then is to get a person or a family in a condition where they really don't need you anymore.
Yes, so it's mostly like a rehabilitation period, so
Yeah.
it's not really a forever type thing. But like I said, I have one patient that's graduated currently, and she'll still call me if she needs something. So, I mean, we're always a resource, we're always accessible, but yes, it's more of like a rehabilitation period of get you back on your feet and get you what you need, so you don't have to go to the hospital.
And you to get people familiar with the other organizations that
Yes.
can give them a hand.
Yep, facilitating resources is my specialty.
Okay.
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
also gonna work with UVA physicians
Yes.
in Orange?
Yes.
Okay.
So we do, UVA actually has their own community paramedic program, They're based out of the main hospital in Charlottesville, so they do a lot more in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. But they do have a program as well that I work very, very close with, and we've gotten on great terms with their physicians as well. So they're awesome with it. All right, if we don't have any more questions, I'm gonna hand this over to Ron, I
You can put that
believe.
right in the.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. You just
Thank
gotta
you.
yell.
Super duper program.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to give Kristen a lot of praise. I gotta tell you, I'm very impressed with her. She's very intelligent. She's got the drive to go out and do this. And she's very open to becoming a part of everything that we do. So with the TRIAD program, I think a lot of you know that in addition to managing the programs for the seniors, I also am very actively involved in investigating crimes committed against seniors. So let's say, for instance, Jean's bank, Wells Fargo, detects suspicious activity on her account, knows that she's of the senior age, and thinks that she's become a victim of scams, or that she's not being able to manage her finances. They will submit a report to Adult Protective Services, who will then generate a report to our agency, and APS and myself have teamed up to go out and do an interview with Jean to find out what's going on. And sometimes we find out when we're dealing with people, they've just become an unwitting victim of a scam, they don't have any cognitive issues, they don't really have any health issues, it was just a bad day, okay? But in a lot of cases, we find out when we get into the meat of it that someone has cognitive issues or other physical disabilities that they need assistance with that might have contributed to getting them into that situation. Now that Kristen has come on board, we had a conversation and I asked her to become a part of that team. So now when we go out, if we go to Jean's house to investigate something like this, Kristen's gonna go with us if she's available. And while she's there, she can help do, if she sees something that we don't see, or even if she sees something we do see, she can start to address that issue, and hopefully, again, what her goal is to help keep those people from becoming victims of crime, and also to help them, to be able to stay in their home and do the things that her program is supposed to do. I just think that she's gonna be a tremendous resource. She's come on board as one of the Project Lifesaver instructors. We'll talk about that program in a little bit. And she's also come on board as going out and installing the Guardian Alert pendants for us. So in addition to the team of volunteers that we have that are out doing the work of TRIAD, she has also stepped up to do those two things, which is really huge. So let's give her another really. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to introduce you to the latest and greatest piece of equipment that's out there now that can help you in case you get in trouble, and it's called a cell phone. Now, I don't know if y'all have seen one of these before, but you might need one. I encourage you to get one. It's new technology. So, anyway, little history.
That's an antique.
It's just like me. This cell phone was the second cell phone I bought in 1991. The first cell phone I had was a bag phone. And I was working for the county police department in Charlottesville, and you could talk on it about 5 miles. That's all the towers you had was right around town. But the bag phone, I saw a guy carrying one of these one day, and I was like, man, that's really cool. I'd like to have one. So traded in my bag phone and got what is commonly referred to as the brick. Kristen looked at this and said, what the hell?
I don't know that should even be considered a cell phone.
Is that right? So I'm going to start with our programs kind of low tech first. I'll encourage you to come get one of these if you want to. This is commonly known as a rubber husband. This device right here is something we give out for free. You can have these today if you want one, but this is a jar opener, basically. You know, I gotta be honest with you, as I've gotten older, my grip strength has declined and I got a little bit of arthritis in this hand. This is nice. This is really, really nice. So if you want one of these, come up to the table and get one. I'm gonna go ahead and pass out, if you would do that for me, the brochures for the TRIAD program. And actually, while you're doing that, you can also give them those at the same time. That's just a little thing about the TRIAD program. One of the things that we, also, if you want one of these today, is our professional grade chip clips. There's 100 million uses for these things, and they are fantastic. These are some of the best you can buy. I encourage you to come up and get one if you don't have one. File of Life. This is a very low-tech, simple program that can help keep you safe. File of Life is designed in this little red packet. Goes on your refrigerator. We train our paramedics and our firefighters to look for things like this when they go into a home, even our officers. So this little sticker is on a window or a door will identify to us that you have this on your refrigerator. Now, for those of you who have stainless steel refrigerators, this will not work on the door. It will slide off. So it probably needs to go on the side, but we're looking for it on the refrigerator, somewhere around the refrigerator. So inside here is a little sheet of paper. We encourage you, if you can, take a picture of yourself, put it in here with it so that we know we're treating the right person. So for instance, we get a 911 call, we come in your residence, you're down on the kitchen floor, we don't know who you are. We see that this is there with the picture, that's who you are. This is gonna have your emergency contact information, your doctors, any family members, medications that you're taking. You can put all that on there. You can even put, if you've got a DNR, you can put the DNR in there or put on there that you have a DNR and where it's located. This will do a lot of talking for you if you're not able to talk. One of the nice things about this is that an officer or a paramedic treating you can grab this off the refrigerator and take it with them and give it to the emergency room or whoever's treating you. This is very low tech, doesn't cost anything. If you guys would like one of these today, I've got a whole pile of them up here. You are more than welcome to come up and get one. Kristen also is carrying these on board. Another program that we have that is this in our computer-aided dispatch system is Smart 911. And I'll leave this information up here for you if you want to come and get this. But Smart 911 is a national program. The county Emergency Communication Center actually pays to be a part of this. And this is a secure online system. This is the way it works. You can go online and create a profile. Or you can have a family or a friend or someone, I mean, even Kristen can do it for you, can create a profile for you, and this is stored online. So basically, any jurisdiction in the United States that's a subscriber of Smart 911, if you dial 911 wherever you're at and they're a subscriber, all of your file of life information basically is now on this profile, and it's gonna pop. So you can associate your cars and license plate numbers, your cell phone numbers and all of that, your emergency contacts, medications, and everything. What will happen is, like in the county of Orange, let's say you're a subscriber to this program, you dial now, let's say you're going down the road, and all of a sudden you don't feel good. You pull off to the side, you're not sure if you're having a heart attack or not. Call 911 from your cell phone. Your 911 cell phone is in this profile. As soon as 911 answers it, it's gonna populate all this information on the screen. Who you are. It'll even tell them where you're at, if necessary. Now, to show you how secure this is, we can't access it. 911 can't access it, we can't access it. The only way it can be accessed is if you call 911. That's how that information is displayed. So we don't have any way to get into it and backdoor that, nor does anyone else, to see who you are or what your issues are. You can put on there, my dog's name is Max, and he will bite. So if you come in the house, you're gonna get bit. So imagine this, imagine this. Here you are, you're laying down on the kitchen floor, you're having a heart attack, you need help, all of a sudden now you're unresponsive. We get there, we knock on the door, oh crap, are we going in there? Probably not, probably not. We're gonna go, hey, animal control officer, we need you here, so we don't have to kill an animal to get to you. If we have this information, then we know that you've got a dog in the house, and his name is Max, and you know what? He's friendly and he doesn't bite. He will bark, but he doesn't bite. You're okay. Okay? So I would strongly take a look at this program. The information is up here, and I would create a profile. Every 6 months, probably actually around every 5.5 months, this program's gonna send you a message, and it's gonna ask you if your Smart 911 profile is up to date. If it is, you don't need to change anything, boop, yes, you're good to go for those 6 months. If it's not, no, you go in and you make changes, and then you go from there. Another program we have, for those that's kind of popular, is our wristband program. This is a nylon wristband, it's not rubber, it's not latex, so it shouldn't cause you any issues. We've given out many of these over the years, but the wristband program is designed, you can wear this on your wrist 24/7. It has a PIN number assigned to it, right there. And then on the other side of it is the County Sheriff's Office phone number. So let's say that you're at the street festival in Orange, and you're tooting along, you've got one of these on, and all of a sudden, you pass out in the middle of the road. We don't know who you are. Maybe you got ID on, maybe you don't. First responder or a citizen is now looking at you going, okay, we need help. If a first responder sees this, they know that they can call the 911 center. We have a notebook in there. All of these are filed numerically. They can look up that PIN number, and they're gonna know who you are, and it's basically, again, file of life in the notebook, in this wristband. So it's a really good fail-safe, just in case everything else fails. It's something that might help save your life. About a year and a half down the road of wearing these, if you're running 24/7, they'll start to turn colors and they'll become unreadable. If that happens, all you need to do is call me and say, hey, look, I need a new wristband. I can either come visit you or I can mail it to you. You turn your old one in, I'll put the new number in the system, and you're good to go until it fades and you can't wear it again. So we have that. Another new program, and I'll get, where's my passer-outer? Our Senior Buddy program. Senior Buddy, and Gene and I have talked about this quite a bit because we don't want to run over top of each other. So I know LOWLINC has a lot of good stuff going on with your members. Senior Buddy for you guys is going to be that one, or even if you know somebody who's not into LOWLINC and might need this, is a system that we've developed where a volunteer, you can sign up for this. We'll send a team of volunteers out to, and actually you probably want to go with them maybe on these. They'll come out and they'll do an initial visit with you. They'll find out, do you have a dog? You know, what's your medical issues? Who's your emergency contacts? They'll bring you a little goodie bag with all of this stuff in it. And they're gonna find out whether or not, they're gonna find out and talk to you, how many times would you like to be contacted during a week? We typically try to keep it at like 1, but if you wanna be contacted a couple times a week and the volunteer is good for that, they can do that. But basically what this is at a minimum, a weekly check-in to make sure if you're a senior who's living alone and doesn't have relatives close by or people that check on you on a regular basis, this is that program for you. So you guys might not fit into that category because of LOWLINC, but if you know friends and neighbors that are, I would highly suggest this program. And they can contact me, I'll get them in touch with the volunteer that runs the program, and then we'll go from there. Any questions about that? Okay.
Did you mention that you have the authority to put a lockbox on the door?
We're getting to
I'll
that.
go get that.
Yes. Next thing. Now we go to the life-saving devices, the really life-saving devices. Guardian Alert Pendant. So we support this program through donations and grant money and fundraising. It's an expensive program. This unit, this mobile pendant, cost us $339. This one is one that I'll demonstrate in a minute that you can take with you anywhere, anytime, 24/7. It connects to cell phone towers. This Guardian Alert pendant that we still have some of that are being phased out is this unit. This one connects to your home telephone line if you have a dedicated home phone line. And this one's good for about 1,000 feet from the base station in your house. So you can go out and check the mail, do some gardening or whatever. This one, if you press the button and it goes straight to 911 through your phone line, and it knows exactly what your address is and who you are. Because the phone line is tied to that information, so they will know that. This only requires to be charged about once every 2 or 3 months. It's designed to be worn 24/7. It is water resistant, not necessarily waterproof. But we have passed out probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 of these in the past 4 or 5 years. So we put a lot into this program. It is a quick story about this. We had a 94-year-old elementary school teacher who retired from the Orange school system, who lived downtown. I remember issuing her one of these because her family felt strongly about the fact that she needed one, and she lived on her own. And she was very spry. Not really, probably didn't really need it at that time, but was getting close. And so about 3 years went by, and I kept in touch with her for a few months afterwards to see how she was doing, and then I lost contact with her because I got busy and she never called me. So got a call from her caregiver one day, didn't know she had a caregiver now. She said, hey, look, she goes, she fell out of the bed last night, and she laid on the floor for like 7 or 8 hours, and it was in the middle of the winter time. The only way she stayed warm was she was able to pull covers off the bed. Lucky her, she could have died of exposure that night. Being on the ground, even if you're not outside on the ground, if you're inside and you're on the floor, what's happening to your body when you're in contact with that floor? You're not heating the floor, are you? It's pulling heat out of you, right? So 7 or 8 hours on a floor in a house, you could easily succumb, She's not wearing her pendant. Well, that's a problem. So went down and talked to her, took one of her former students with me, and, why aren't you wearing your pendant? Well, I should like, okay, whatever. You could have died last night. All right, wear the pendant. So we made sure it was working, got her back up and running. She put it on. 3 days later, 911 activation off the pendant. Now her caregiver only came in every other day. This happened to be on a day when the caregiver was not coming in. She fell in the kitchen and broke her hip. Had she not had this, she would have died. And she wasn't ready to die. I'm telling you, she was in pretty good health. So these things can save your life. One of the things that we do when we install this is we furnish 2 additional items. One is a lockbox. And I forgot what the other one was. Because I have the battery backup. So for this unit, we supply a battery backup to go with this. And the reason why we do that is because if your landline phone, if your power goes down and you have a landline phone, most of the time your landline phone is gonna work, right? So in order to make sure this still has power to it, we supply a battery backup that'll last for several days. So it'll power the pendant so you can still call 911. The lockbox, we can give you regardless of whether you have a pendant or not. If you have file of life and you want a lockbox, that's fine, we'll provide one for you. The lockbox is like a real estate lockbox. It has a combination code on it. You can put a spare key in it. You can hang it on your rail outside. You can put it on your front door, your back door, your garage door, wherever you want it to go. When you dial 911 and you're having an emergency, and you can't get to the door to let us in, guess what's gonna happen? We're coming in. Whether we gotta break a door or a window or whatever it is, we're coming in to get you, okay? Well, the lock box can help alleviate that damage, okay? So I would encourage you to think about whether you want us to give you one or whether you wanna go buy one. The newest and greatest Guardian Alert pendant, this unit cost us $170, okay? That's not a lot of money for good coverage. This unit is costing $239. Now the trade-off is this, the battery backup is already built into this. So we don't need to spend an extra $30 for battery backup. Kristen and I, actually Kristen more than I, has installed one of these. And one of the nice things about this unit is that it will allow for additional calls to be made to friends and family. So for instance, again, I'll pick on Jean. Let's say Jean has one of these and she falls on the floor. Now this is tied to your home phone line, again. So Jean's falling in the floor, she can't get up, she's got her pendant on, hits the emergency button. If we program this thing the way that she would like us to, and she wants to call, let's say she wants to call Karen, because Karen lives 3 houses down. She's fallen, but she's okay. She doesn't really need rescue, right? So she hits the button, it will call Karen first. If Karen doesn't answer within a few seconds of that call going through, then the next person she might call is Alita. Because Alita lives like 3 blocks from where Jean lives, but she's closer. So it'll dial calling Alita. It's gonna call over that. Now, if Alita doesn't answer, it's gonna default to the 911 system. So what'll happen is, and the first caller, let's say again it's Karen, Karen has the option of telling the unit not to call 911. I think that's the way it worked, wasn't it? Somewhere in
I think
there,
so.
there's
Yeah.
a thing for that, okay? So, again, a little skippier unit, a little more money, but, that's the way that works. And I pulled this out this morning, I'll show you how the mobile one works. The only disadvantage, hello, no,
I turned it off, did you want it on?
no ma'am, just checking. The only, disadvantage to this unit is that you gotta be able to talk. This unit, does not have a dedicated cell phone number built into it. It uses decommissioned cell phone numbers, so every time it's activated, it is going to hit, it's gonna use a different decommissioned number, and it's gonna bang off the closest cell phone tower to the unit. So it'll get us potentially in the right place where you are, but it's not gonna pinpoint where you are. Now, I've not played with it enough to know if it's possible for us to be able to triangulate that. It might be, we might have that ability. I know we have it with cell phones, dedicated cell phones. I'm not sure we have it with this. However, if you don't have a landline phone and you are susceptible to falls, this is better than nothing. And it's not gonna cost you anything. There's no additional fees incurred with any of these units, okay? So it's a good thing. When I first took over this position in 2019, I met a lady at a presentation I did who had a Guardian Alert something. It was from a different company, and between the unit and what she was paying in fees every month to use it, because it did go anywhere she wanted it to go, was really expensive. And she said to me, she said, I really can't afford this anymore. I'd really like to have one of these. You know, and I said, well, you know, the disadvantage is, and she said, I can live with that. You know, because if I'm out in my car, I have my cell phone. And at home, I can use this. This is better coverage. So, at any rate, just keep that in mind. If you want one of these, if you're mobile, you don't have a home phone, and you really are susceptible to falls, you need it, fine, we're gonna give it to you. Just remember that when you activate the button, more than likely, if you can activate the freaking button, you can talk. Now, that being said, This also has fall detection. The other day I was on the range, my Apple Watch has fall detection, and I was out qualifying with the rifle, and I hit the ground real quick, started firing, and my watch went, hey, we just detected a fall, and we're calling 911, and I'm like, So anyhow, this does have fall detection. I believe within 6 to 10 seconds of detecting a fall, it will automatically call 911. But let's see if I can get it to work. So I just activated it. It's calling 911. It's going directly to our, hopefully ours, might be Spotsy. We'll see. It's a surprise.
There you go.
Hey, it's Deputy Kesner. I'm in a presentation and I'm doing a demonstration for the Guardian pendant mobile device.
Okay, so there's no emergency?
No ma'am, not at this time. Thank you for asking. All right, bye. And then it'll disconnect. Hopefully. There we go. Pretty easy. So, yes ma'am.
Is there anything coming out similar to the 3 that you have demonstrated that is linked to cell phones versus landlines?
This is linked to the cell towers.
Right. Okay, I missed that part.
That's
I
okay.
apologize.
That's all right. That's it. This is linked to the cell towers.
Okay.
The only disadvantage to this is when you call, you have to be able to tell them, my name is Ron, I live at 444 Lakeview Drive,
Right.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Now, what happens if you call, you start to talk, and then you pass out?
That's an issue. Call that an
What
issue.
happens?
Well, I think what we're gonna do then, what's gonna happen then is the dispatch is gonna say, we just got a 911 call from a location near this particular cell tower. So we're gonna start sending people to that location to try to find you. At that point, we're gonna know that you're either in a house or you're mobile somewhere. And hopefully, again, and I don't know, because we haven't done this, I probably need to do this, is see if we can triangulate and pinpoint that location. We might be able to do that.
I mean, I'm just thinking, somebody
I
might
got
be
you.
able to, maybe give their name,
Right.
and then something happens.
Exactly. Of course, if we get your name, there's a good possibility we're gonna know where you live, and then we can come in that. This is not, I don't if you've got a home telephone line, I don't advocate that you use this. But if you don't have a home telephone line and you know you're a fall risk, this is better than nothing, and it's free. Okay, makes sense?
And it will work wherever you are, not just within
It's
the
supposed to,
1,000 feet
it's
of your
supposed to
home.
connect to any cell phone tower, any network, if it detects service. And you can actually hit a button on the side, and it'll go, one will do this. All right, maybe it won't.
Battery, okay.
Sometimes it'll tell you that it's connected to a network. Let me see if I can get to do that.
Battery, okay.
Well, the battery's okay. There's a way, it's either through this button or that button, or maybe you push them both together, but there's a way that it'll tell you if it's connected to a network. And I'll get to you in just a second. We had some of these a couple years ago, but the technology connected to the 3G system, and then it went 4G, and then those pretty much went obsolete. These are 4G, and so there's a ton of 4G networks out there still that have not, they're 4G, 5G. So I've been impressed with this so far. I think Kristen's gonna try to issue this to a lady, next week.
We also do keep track of who we administer them to.
Yes, we
So
do.
chances are, if we know the area, we may know that like one or two people had the pin in that area. So that's another way that we could hopefully figure out who's calling.
And, yeah, and again, it's certainly better than nothing if you're the fall risk. I did have a lady that I issued one of these to, the old one, and she, fell on her back porch at like 6 o'clock in the morning. She wanted to go out and drink coffee. And her husband was still asleep. She went out and fell down. It was in the winter time. There was snow on the deck. And she would have been out there for a couple hours. She had that. She could talk, and she was able to tell them, because the operator said, "We're seeing your location as X," and it was up here in Lake of the Woods at some tower address. And she goes, "I don't live there, I live at this." "Well, we're seeing this." The dispatcher's arguing with her now. We see you're at this location. No, you don't understand. This is my house, this is where I'm at. The pendant might be saying I'm there, but I'm here. And finally, they got it, and then they called me later and said, "Well, what's the deal with this thing?" And I had to explain it to them, so.
How far
Yes,
from?
yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Well, you know, you have a problem if the thing says battery okay, you're not.
That's very true.
But if you're.
Self-check.
All right, if your home phone is VoIP, will the ones that,
Yes.
work off will work off that
Yes.
as well?
That's a good point, thanks for bringing that up. So both of these, we can connect into, like if you have Xfinity for your phone service, yeah, we can plug it right in the back of your modem. If it's Comcast, we can plug it right in. It actually works really well like that. So yeah, we can do voice over IP stuff with that. Great question.
How far from the cell phone does that unit have to be? I mean, does it have to be in
You
a
talking about
certain
the mobile one?
The mobile one, how far, is there a certain proximity to your cell phone?
No, it doesn't connect to a cell
Oh,
phone.
okay,
No, it's a standalone, it's just like a little cell phone.
oh, okay.
The only difference is, instead of having a dedicated phone number to it, it's got a decommissioned phone number that rotates.
Yeah, you did say that.
Which
Yeah.
would be cool if the decommissioned numbers hung with that unit. Then we could say, oh, the decommissioned unit belongs to you, right? But unfortunately, every time you press the button, it uses a separate decommissioned number.
Right.
Yes, ma'am?
The big box Guardian Alert 911,
Mm-hmm.
we currently have that.
Okay.
Does it need to be replaced with the newer one?
No, it does not. The only difference between the two is that one has a separate battery backup, the other one does not.
Right.
And the one that you currently have only goes to 911, whereas the new one, you can program to call a friend before 911.
Okay.
Now, let me say this to you. I'm not gonna start issuing, we've only issued one of these because we wanted to see how it worked. I'm not gonna start issuing these because they cost more money until all of these are gone. I've got 5 or 6 to go out before we get to these. That being said, if you wanted to donate the $239 that unit cost,
Right.
then we would replace it. And we could use yours to go back out to somebody else, if that's what you wanna do.
Okay.
I only say that, and of course, at any time, if you've got one of these units and it goes down and it fails to work, we'll troubleshoot it for you. We'll find out if it's a battery issue, connection issue, or if, lightning or you've had an electrical surge that's run in on you, we'll check to make sure that, if it needs to be replaced, we'll replace it and you don't pay anything for that. Now, please don't go home and send an electrical surge through yours in an attempt to upgrade to the new one. Just a disclaimer.
That's beyond my technology knowledge
Right.
anyway.
Now, this is the premiere and program closer. So this is, how many of you sitting in here today think you're lost? Good person. Okay, so we know that dementia and Alzheimer's is a huge issue. right? We all have loved ones or friends that we know that suffer from this unfortunate disease. Sometimes those individuals, as well as autistic children, tend to elope, either elope or wander, and we call that developing a mission. Because somewhere in the back of their mind, they've decided that they want to go home, or they want to go someplace that they know, or they want to go someplace that they think they know. And even under the best conditions, people can get away. So this is called Project Lifesaver, and Project Lifesaver is an international program. And the idea behind this is that we can issue or place on the affected person who might wander or elope a transmitter. It's a radio transmitter. Some of you might be wondering, well, the GPS technology, why are we doing radio stuff? Because this is the most reliable. GPS technology becomes skewed by clouds, trees, and satellite outages. It also, GPS technology usually has to, because it's sucking a lot of energy, usually has to take, you have to take it off the person at least once a day, charge it for 2 to 4 hours, which leaves them vulnerable. They go missing during that time, that's gonna be an issue. So radio technology is the thing that we have found that is the most reliable. This transmitter emits a signal once a second. It has a battery in there that is designed to last a little over 60 days. So when we issue one of these, we go back to the family every 30 days, we make sure that this is working and that it's on the client. We also go to make sure after 60 days, we change this. We have, I don't like this band, but we have bands that have colors and different textures. We even have leather bands that we can put on someone that's more secure. And this has an assigned frequency to it. At 60 days, we go back, we cut the unit off, we take it off, we clean it up, we put a new battery in it, we put a new wristband on it, we make sure it works, and we go on about our business, okay? If someone goes missing, we can track this transmitter up to 1.5 miles on the ground with this unit. If we can't find them within that 1.5 miles of leaving the house or wherever they were, then we can put a mobile antenna on the car. I have one on mine. We can start increasing that radius until we pick up the signal. Then we can get a ground crew in and we can go directly to where they are. I'm a private pilot. I've got 4 other friends of mine that are involved in this program. If we need to, we can, if the weather's right, we can get in the air and we can track this signal anywhere from 5 to 7 miles away at 2,000 to 2,500 feet. And then we can get into within a 2 square mile radius of where we can track someone. We can also, Project Lifesaver is in the process of developing a drone application for this unit. And once we get that up and running, I'm a drone pilot. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, we got like 7 drones issued to our agency now. We can put one of the drones in the air, and again, at 200 feet in the air, we can probably pick this thing up 3 to 7 miles out. Now, I'm going to give you a little demonstration about how this works. If you would hold that for me just for a second. Of course, we're really close in here. You can hear that we've got an extremely distinctive chirp, okay? And if I'm pointed at that unit, it's going to get stronger. Away from the unit, it gets weaker. So our technique is we do a 360-degree sweep.
Getting warmer.
I know that that's the direction I'm gonna wanna start to go in, right? To give you an idea, this is the showstopper. How good this can work and how good I am, I hope. I'm gonna turn my back and I'm gonna ask you to give that to somebody to hide on their person.
Okay.
Okay? And then I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
Anybody got anything illegal before I start this?
No begging.
Drugs, anything? Okay. Let me know when you're ready. only to find it on your body.
Hold
My
on.
my grandmother used to put money in her bra. Don't do that.
Okay, ready?
All right.
I think they're in the gym.
I should let Kristen find this. Did somebody put this in the ceiling? Let's see here.
I think he just likes playing with a new toy.
Tom, you're looking kind of strong here, buddy. Is it under your hat?
Try to find me.
I think it's you. Not you. Dang. That's a good one.
You're a good hunter.
Why is it so strong coming from the ceiling?
It's not.
Okay. All right, hang on.
You look so good. I thought he found it.
He's close, he's getting close, I think.
Is it in your purse?
No.
Back in?
You would have just half turned right there.
I
you
know,
had.
I know.
You didn't make that half little turn.
So, and I do that for a reason, is because a lot of times when, Kristen might be able to testify to this as well, when you're searching for someone who is lost, who's been in the woods for a while, or they've wandered and they've gotten tired and they lay down, or they've gotten tangled up in a sticker bush or whatever, I found people that didn't look like people. You know, so you gotta be able to be good enough with this machine that if someone happened to crawl into a bush somewhere, that you don't walk by that bush and go, oh, there's nobody in that bush, you know, and keep looking for something that's not out there, and not believe the machine telling you that they're in the bush. I looked for a guy one time, not related to Project Lifesaver Search, but he was up on top of a mountain at a cabin, and he'd gone ginseng hunting, which I don't think he was supposed to do. And he got lost, and he ended up wandering down the side of the mountain. We looked for him for almost 2 days. And he wandered down the side of the mountain, and I guess he got tired, and he got to a fence, and he tried to go underneath the fence. He got stuck. And you wouldn't have known that it was a human being when we got there, even though it was only a couple days. So, not to be morbid or anything, but I do that to show you how good we can be and how accurate this equipment is. You know, had she actually been lost and, you know, out in a field somewhere, we would have found her. You know, even if she was laying down tired or passed out, or even in a creek. We can track this thing up to 30 feet underneath the water. So if they happen to go into a pond or a river or something like that, we can pretty much figure it out, okay? So, that's pretty much the end of my spiel. Anybody got any questions? Go with you first. Trish.
You know the greenhouse number addresses that Orange County has in some places?
Yes.
Didn't they come from the sheriff's office?
No.
Oh,
Those are provided by the county. That's part of the 911 address system.
okay,
So, yeah, that's provided by the county.
okay, so who would I contact to get one?
Kristen, do you know, I would say I'd start with maybe zoning or buildings,
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
because I think they might be the ones, but I know that those are, like, for instance, even the road signs out there, the 911 road signs,
right.
those aren't state signs, those are county signs. The
Oh,
state numbers, the ones that say route, you know, this is Route 7452 on the black on white, that's a state route marker, but the actual 911 signs, they're provided by the county.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
My husband, who isn't here, had a question about file of life.
Yes.
After presentation, I finally convinced him to fill it out, put it on the fridge, and he said, wait, but if someone's married to a person who'd rather die than put an orange sticker on the front door, will the first responder still look at the refrigerator?
Only if we're hungry.
If somebody's unidentified, like if we can't figure out who you are, like we'll definitely look for clues like
Yeah.
that. I can't
But
say
you
that.
wouldn't go look for the.
We wouldn't
file of life
specifically
if you
probably
don't
run
have
right
a
to the
file.
refrigerator if we didn't know it was there, but
So
you know.
without that sticker or something.
I would say,
Or you wouldn't
I
look for it.
wouldn't worry about putting the sticker, I mean, if you don't wanna put the sticker on the door or the window, so what? If it looks tacky, I get that. But you could still put the file of life on the refrigerator.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I
If it's there,
think
will
all the
they
first
still look
responders,
for it?
I think
I
all the
mean,
first
if,
responders.
yeah, they would
probably
definitely hunt
do that.
around for it,
Yes.
for sure. I mean,
Yes.
obviously if we see the sticker, we know to go straight there, but
Right.
otherwise, I mean, if we don't know who you are and you can't tell us who you are, we're gonna look for clues and that
Right.
would be one we'd look for, so.
We've had quite a few calls to our house.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things that.
She points to me.
Oh.
It's not for me. But that's.
Hey.
Yeah, I know.
That's one of the things
Kinda-
that
it's kinda harsh,
they
man.
asked
Mhm.
when they came, when
Yes,
they came in.
good.
You know, do you have file, you know.
Good.
But I mean, my experience is that they pretty much look around for that.
We
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
We do.
Yeah, we were taught to be
you
pretty
can-
nosy.
And you know, if, say like he goes to the hospital and they take that thing off the fridge, call us.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a problem. we'll give you as many as you want. There's like a-
I usually carry stuff in my wallet that has all the information.
That's good, that's a great idea. They actually make a file of life that's wallet size and
Yeah.
pocket size.
Mine has all my meds and all that crap.
That's
We
good.
actually, as long as you're in orange as well, our new software that we got about 2 years ago does save the information for repeat patients. So if we've transported you in the last 2 years, we save all of that information. So we would just go ahead and put even your address, it could come up, or your name, but all your medical history and meds and everything would come up as long as nothing's changed, so.
Mhm.
If they looked at your file of life once and got the information, the fire and EMS should have it.
I haven't seen.
You hold on.
Okay.
You've already asked her. Give somebody else a chance. Go ahead.
Two questions, but in the same thing. Christie, you have all this information. There's a lot of information you've given. You have all that.
Yes.
Are you on a trial basis, or are you gonna be around for 5 years?
I'll be around for a while.
We already gave her a test run.
Yeah, this is
Well,
something that will be
I'm talking
safe.
about the county being
I
able to
know.
put up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, this is definitely funded at least 5 years. Obviously, we hope to expand and justify
Right.
forever.
If you decided we needed one of those things that you got up here, would you take care of it, or would you call him?
We work together on that.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
if whoever encounters them first and whoever can get there the earliest
And
to give it
she's
to you.
fully certified to do Project Lifesaver and Guardian Pendant. And then if she's busy, then she'll roll it over to us. So we'll double team it.
Whoever
Make
can
sure-
get it to you
She's not
fastest.
better looking than you
You know,
are.
I kinda have a feeling, when you started to ask that question, there was this little piece inside of me, call it cop tuition,
Okay.
that was thinking you'd rather have her than me.
All right.
Now, that's okay, because there are plenty of fine-looking women in here that would probably rather have me than her. Okay, look, there's a hand right there.
She makes all this fun.
Look, she was serious.
Serious.
Okay,
At the TRIAD conference, at the TRIAD table, I didn't see the wallet size.
we don't have them. That's why. They make them, we just don't have them.
No.
So, you know, all of this stuff is funded through donations and grant money and donations from local businesses. It's nice when, if we go out and install one for somebody, that they make a donation for us, to us for the program. That's really nice. I'm a little concerned this year because, the way the economy's going, some of the businesses have had to dial down their contributions for things. There's not as much grant money out there as there was. So I'm hoping I can find a way, between the county budget and the donations and stuff to keep it going, but we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna do everything we can to keep it going. So, but if you know a business or somebody that would like to be involved and sponsor one of these programs, you know, I'd say Guardian Pendant probably cost us about $6,000 a year to fund. Project Lifesaver cost us about anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000 a year to fund. Each one of these transmitters costs $400. And each one of these receivers cost us $1,200. I will tell you that, I have a receiver on board. Kristen will have a receiver on board when we get the money to give her one. Both paramedic units out of Mine Run and out of Berry Hill their duty officers are all trained. There's one 24/7 available, and there's one on each one of their trucks. And we have 8 deputies assigned to patrol that are trained and certified, and they each have one in their vehicle, so.
And our chiefs.
And the chiefs. So what we, try to strive for is if we get a Project Lifesaver activation call, gonna get co-dispatched. We're gonna be sending a deputy and we're gonna be sending a medic unit. And we're gonna at least hopefully have 2 units rolling on that call and then calling in additional manpower as we need to. Yes, ma'am.
Where do we get those? Can we buy them anywhere? Or
What-
do we
what do you-
the alert things?
Regarding alerts,
Yeah,
those, you call me
uh-huh,
and say that you need one and the reason why. I get your information and then I send a team of volunteers or Kristen
okay.
out, or myself, out to your residence and we install them for you and show you how it works.
Oh, okay,
Yep, all you gotta do is contact me.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a monthly fee?
No, ma'am, there's no monthly fees associated with anything we do. The equipment we issue you is free. You make a donation to us if you want. If you can't afford it, no harm, no foul. You get the equipment. If you need it, we're gonna try to make sure you get it. After that, there are no monthly fees for anything.
Thank you.
The Guardian Alert 911 has an outdoor key box and something else that the person wears on their body, or? how
You
does it-
have, so with all the pendants, you're gonna get a lanyard and you're gonna wear it around, either around your neck, or a couple of these have the ability to wear it on your wrist or even on your belt,
Oh,
okay? Or you can just stick it in your pocket.
there you
The
go.
preferred method is, hanging it around your neck and sticking it down your shirt. Because if you fall, it'd be easy to get to that. A lot of people are very vain, they don't like that. I might not necessarily like it, but that's why, they kind of hide it. And you go like that. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
So with somebody with Alzheimer's or dementia or, like, say, autism, and they don't wanna wear the Project Lifesaver band?
Yes,
Or they take it off?
right.
Any tips about how you could hide it, or, is it?
Yeah, so every now and then, our theory is we'd rather have it on you than not some way. We had a gentleman who didn't wanna wear it on his person, so every day when he got up, his son would zip tie it, or put it in his pocket or zip tie it to his pants. We have children sometimes that if they wear the same pair of shoes every day, or the same clothes every day, their parents will sew pockets. Like say if it was your husband, for instance, you could sew a pocket in a pair of pants that he likes to wear, and then you just stick it down in there every day. Of course, then you gotta worry about, well, what if he slips out at night, or something like that. But we will work with trying to figure out a way to have it, if we need to. And again, better than not. The only problem with not having it on the body is that we have discovered that when people wander or they tend to either start to take clothing off, or they get tangled up in something and their clothing gets ripped off. So you could lose it. If it's on a shoe, you could lose a shoe. Now, at least we have an idea what direction you went in, if nothing else. And that's one reason why we have the leather band, is because we do have aggressive children and aggressive adults who will try to cut the normal band off. The leather band is thicker, it has a special security screw, so it's very hard to defeat. Not to say it can't be defeated, but it's hard to defeat.
Great, thank you.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you think the technology would ever increase with that band, or they could wear it like a patch, like diabetic patients check their insulin?
I don't know, I know Project Lifesaver puts a lot of money into research every year to do things, like, for instance, one of the things that, they haven't put their money into this, there's another company called TheoraCare out there. TheoraCare makes what looks like a normal wristwatch, about the size of the one that William here is wearing, and it's GPS. However, in an environment like this, with the cell towers spread out so far apart, we found out that for our agency, it did not work well, so we're not gonna issue any of those out. Plus, you have to take it off every so often to charge, which leaves the client vulnerable. However, the LA Sheriff's Office in California bought 250 of them, and they think they're, greater than sliced bread, because they have the infrastructure and the network that are supported.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, well, thank you so much. So if you, everybody can bear with us, oops, it's off. Yeah, I want to do the feedback thing, so I'll let you turn it on.
Oh, you let me do that.
Okay, so if you can bear with us for just a few more minutes, we have a couple of announcements, but first I really want to thank Kristen and Ron for being here. I'm so excited about the community paramedicine program. It's just so great to have something that we can pull all the pieces together and get that extra support to tie, the doctor and the resources together. So we're excited about that. And just can't say enough about, working with TRIAD and Ron. How many people went to the TRIAD conference? It was so awesome, as usual. We're still talking about it, so thank you for that. And then also just having Ron to call on for whether it's, questions about fraud that's happening or these great devices or anything else. TRIAD really is here for all of us in the community that are older adults. And with that, I just kind of want to remind everybody about our program. So we do offer our members direct member services within Lake of the Woods, but we do have programs that are open to the community, so anybody can attend those, and I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to those programs. So we, of course, have this speaker series meeting. Everybody is welcome to attend these meetings. We have our encore singing program, which I talked about. We have a care partner discussion group. Trish back there leads that, so if anybody's interested in attending that, you can go on our website and get more information. And let's see, what was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, our annual drive-through vaccine clinic. So that'll be, what's the week after? I guess it's the 27th, I think September 27th. So put that on your calendar. And then don't forget to come to our annual walk, which is September 30th, which is a Saturday. So that'll be a lot of fun. And our picnic's coming up. Huh? What was it? 20? Yeah, September 20th for the walk, right. September 20th for the walk and 27th for the vaccine clinic. Okay. And yes, so on June 11th is our picnic, which is this Wednesday. So if you haven't signed up yet, hurry up because we're going to have a lot of fun and eat a lot of good barbecue. So. Are there any other announcements, either LOWLINC or in the community? Okay. Well, once again, let's just give a big hand to Kristen and Ron. And our wonderful call handlers are always available, so if you have questions and you're like, I just don't know where to start to reach out to Kristen and Ron, although there's lots of ways to do that, but you can call our call handlers too.
911 works.
Yeah, 911 works, yeah. But, we'll try to make sure call handlers have all the information to point you in the right direction as well. So last but not least, and thank you for the reminder. Oh, that was another reminder. So we have a music memory and movement program, which we just started. Yeah, it's always hard to say, the MM&M. And we have so much fun, and we're getting ready to have another one. And we're excited that Elizabeth will be leading us in singing some songs, well-known songs in rounds. So don't miss that. Look that up too. I don't have the date. Do you?
June 24th.
June 24th. Okay, right here. Right. 2 to 3. June 24th, 2 to 3. Okay, but anyway, she is reminding me to remind you to please fill out that survey and leave it on your way out. So, okay, well, we're not going to meet in July because we're going to be at the parade, and that's going to be our July thing. So we'll see you back here for the speaker series in August. All right, thank you.